So without further ado, let me start with bringing up the first person, which will be Mark Weithorn. Mark.
Thank you very much. Great water.
That's product placement. There you go. Oh, all right.
Hello, everyone.
All right, Mark. So, as we've been kind of prepping for this interview, which just so everybody knows, Mark's been on the show a number of times. He is a published author. We've published Mark's work and distributed it as well. So I'm a big fan of yours, and I'm excited to get into the content today. So let me start off with Mark's bio. So Mark Weithorn is the president of DPI Showcase Websites, which is a Miami-based company that specializes in creating websites for real estate agents across the United States. As AI is becoming an integral part of technology and the real estate marketplace, DPI has been adding AI features to its systems. DPI plans to stay on the bleeding edge of this technology.
Bleeding edge.
There you go. So Mark, first question for you. Is this one of those evolutionary times in tech history? Because AI, what's going on, the iPhone, new announcements, like, where do you stand?
Sure. So this is an evolutionary time. There are certain moments in time where something happens and it changes the world. For example, everyone remembers 2007. What happened in 2007?
Come on.
The iPhone. Okay, the iPhone. Remember that? But what people don't remember is 1991. 1991 was probably as pivotal as anything that could happen. They invented the SSD. Okay, solid state disk. Beforehand, what you had was a platter, a hard drive, and how many hard drives had crashed through the years. Then it took 6 years, and Apple came out with an iPod, with an SSD that you could put 1 million songs on there and carry it around with you. And it took that long for this technology to get mainstream. They only sold 450 million of those over 20 years. But what they did was they revolutionized the business of music because it was no longer vinyl. You didn't go to the store and buy a record. Then the iPhone came out in 2007, and everyone was like, wow, this is going to change the world. And it did change the world. But if you remember the first iPhone, it was pretty bare. I mean, now my screen, I have to go by like 20 times to find the Uber app, okay? But it didn't have apps. And basically what it had was Google Maps. They didn't even have the Apple Maps. And then the Apple Maps came out, and everyone was going, wow, this is trash. What's going to happen? How can Apple put that out? You remember that? It was like, that's the wrong street. I don't know what it's doing. But what happened over the next 5 or 10 years is it evolved, and the App Store evolved. And we had some initial apps that came out that were really stupid because they were like quick and dirty stuff. I mean, one of my son's college roommates created a thing that did a rim shot, bada boom, it was like, because anyone could do that. But then the apps started to develop, and it took over. For example, 10 years ago, did you think you could go on the American Airlines app on your phone and buy an airline ticket? Or your plane can't take off because of some malfunction, and you're sitting there on your app, and you're changing your plane reservation. I mean, did we think we could do that? It took time to evolve. Here we are with AI, and we're in the same situation. We have a new technology which is going to keep growing, which is going to keep taking off. But it needs to incubate. It needs to grow. The basis is there, but it's not there yet. So, for example, what we're doing with our real estate, we have websites for realtors, and I have a system where I put a blog article in our system, and it goes out to all the websites, and then of all our clients. And then what it does is it automatically goes onto their social media and all sorts of stuff. So what I'm doing with AI is I'm actually having, ChatGPT, write some of the articles. I put in a prompt and I get some decent articles. Some of them are dogs. I read it. But some of them are good. And that's a good start. That's what we're doing. But what happens with real estate is we live and die by statistics. It's just the way we are. How much is a home worth, how many sold, and things like that. And if you get those statistics wrong, you get panned. For example, Zillow has this thing called Zestimates. We all know about Zestimates. Mm-hmm. Here's a fun fact. 27% of the Zestimates are accurate.
Wow. Says who?
The industry. They've done research on it. Redfin. Redfin is constantly doing research on Zillow. Okay, they are constantly panning Zillow. I mean, it's just, it's a hate-hate relationship. And they get panned over it. I went on to Bard today, and I typed in, what is the home value in zip code 33141? That's where I live. Miami Beach, 305, Mm-hmm. Go Heat. Go Panthers. So, I'm very fortunate. I live in a place where the home values are comparable to LA. And it said that the average price of a home was $440,000. Now, if I published that and it went out to all my clients' websites and that got published, I'd be flipping burgers next week. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, it's there. AI is there, but it needs to mature, and we need to realize it needs to mature, and then we need to grow into it as it matures.
So you've been doing quite a bit this week and going to different Tech Week events and really just seeing the lay of the land, seeing different ideas, other founders, what they're proposing. Is there a consensus on AI in terms of what does it mean? How are people figuring it out? How should founders be thinking about it? What kind of things did you see in your adventure so far?
Great, thank you. There's two things. There's the perception versus the reality. Or there's the want, this is what we want it to do. And it might do that one day. Yeah, it will. I believe it will do that. I don't think it's disappearing. I don't think it's going away. I think it will grow and it'll be as mainstream as can be. But some people are going, wow, it's going to build a house. And I'm like, okay. Maybe, I don't know. I can't answer that. Maybe it can build a house. I can't answer that. But there's the perception or there's the want versus where it's at today. And I think it will grow. And I think it maybe one day, if you put in some parameters, it might build a house.
So DPI websites, you've been 20 plus years, I believe, right? So you as a tech founder way before I think you used maybe that term, tech founder, and it was a cool thing. But that being said, you've seen many, many iterations. So there'll be some founders. So this will be distributed not just in this room, of course, but also on our podcast, on our website. This will be all over the place, social media. So how should all the founders out there be kind of thinking about how they integrate AI? You gave us an example of how you're using ChatGPT very cautiously. How should some other founders be thinking about this?
Sure. The first thing is the term AI. It's watered down. Automation interpretations or things like that, like if I go to a chat with a company and I type in a question and it has a keyword and it's programmed to answer those keywords, that's not AI. It's been around for a long time. So the first thing is understanding AI and what is it really? To me, AI means, if I am at the airport and my plane does break down, that app automatically gets a new plane or reroutes me or things like that. That's AI. That's a machine thinking, doing a task that people don't have to do. So the first thing is, being true to what AI is. The second thing is being true to what people need. It's always the user interface. It's always the person who's going to use the product. I mean, you use an app, you want it to be simple, you want it to be easy, you want that program to oh, I know how to do this. I hate these games. Sometimes I play games and it's got all these scrolling of messages of what I'm doing next, and things like that. So you have to remember the user. You have to remember the experience that the user will have.
How do you decide? So there's a lot of rabbit holes you can go down as a founder when it comes to investing in your company. I mean, for new AI technologies or how to add things to your either suite of services or what you're offering your clients. Chirag will tell you he's somewhere around here running around, but I don't know. Every other day we're getting pitched, or there's some other technology that can help us as a media company, which I'm sure some of them, actually can help us, and some of them may be rabbit holes that could, take away from our current efforts. How do you make decisions on what's next for your investments within your company?
I love questions.
Okay.
Don't you agree that human beings also need to mature? We're not doing things these days that seem very smart to me.
So what happens is this. People evolve with technology, and that's okay. We do. For example, I used to be in the advertising business, and back in the day, it was typesetting and, you paste it down and all that stuff. And then desktop publishing came out, and we evolved. And that's just part of technology. We change with technology, but we're still people. We still, have to go to the store. We still have to do things. We still want to buy a house. We still want to go to the movies or something, whatever. And we just adapt with technology. So technology is not like controlling us. It's just a tool that we use to live our lives. I mean, did we ever think we'd walk around with a phone in our hand? No, but, now all of a sudden, we get hit by cars because we're looking at the phone while we're crossing the streets. But, that's the way technology is. I teach classes about sales to people, and I tell them that, technology is great, but sales are people talking one-on-one. It's still the communication, and that doesn't change.
How do you go about deciding what investments that you're going to make in your company as it relates to AI? Because there's a lot of rabbit holes that we can go down as founders, but how do you decide?
Sure. So before AI, my A was automation. That was the key. That you make things as simple as possible. Everything is automated. Where my clients, realtors, they're salespeople. They're not tech people. They can barely check their emails. I mean, it's just the reality.
Realtors in the room?
No, how do I click forgot password? Okay. So we automate things to make their lives as simple as possible. So now all of a sudden, their phone goes off. Here's a lead. Go call them and things like that. That's what we've been doing. As far as true AI, what are we going to do? My plans are pretty straightforward. We're going to start creating different tools and apps as AI evolves. Right now, what we're doing is we're doing blog articles and things like that. But I can't trust AI right now to give me data that is proper. But as it grows, as it matures, I'm going to start creating different tools and apps that fit into it that will help my clients reach out to someone, help them to buy or sell a house. What that is now, I can't tell you. But I know it's not going to be one app. It's going to be a series of apps. So I'm going to end up starting an app factory that are going to start pulling in these tools as it evolves.
We definitely want to take some time and open up for questions. I'm not going to hog all the questions here today. So we have a mic. I think we'll turn this one on. Is that going to be the... Yep. And if we want to also get in on this one. Yeah. So if we want to ask some questions and...
I'll ask a quick question. So you mentioned at the beginning that the term AI has been watered down. And I 100% agree with you on that. And even within your own answers to some of the questions, you've used AI to refer more, in some cases, that it's really, there's different, we talk about the difference between what ChatGPT is, which is a language tool, as opposed to AI, which we've had for a while in certain circumstances, like the automation of driving in a Tesla, for example. Right, so there's a huge difference between the language model versus sort of general AI, which is analyzing data and coming up with solutions, right? So I was just sort of like, the question is how do you approach the difference between the two, like the multiple tools that you refer to, using those?
Great, thank you. So there's different uses for technology. Like, for example, you say a Tesla, right? It has to learn how to drive through traffic. And that probably is true AI, what they're doing. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I don't know if it's learning. I don't know if it's makes mistakes and learns on those mistakes and it changes the programming. I don't know if it does that. Or is it just programmed for certain scenarios and it knows what to do? And that, to me, that's not AI. That's just good programming. There's automation. Automation has been around for a long time. And that's fine. That's great. I embrace it. It's just that AI to me is machines learning and then machines changing based on the scenario. Did I answer your question? You can ask it again.
No.
Hi, your company makes websites, right? Do you worry about AI basically being able to, use Midjourney or ChatGPT or whatever, being able to create the content and the website and being basically eclipsed by that? And I don't say just by your company because a lot of other businesses can have the same issue too. Thank you.
Wow, you just opened Pandora's box. There's a lawsuit going on now. Getty Images is suing one of the AI companies because they read all of Getty Images' photos. I don't know if any of you read about that lawsuit. There was another scenario. Google or Alphabet said, you know what, in case the bomb blows up, we need to take every book and we need to digitize every book so we have a library of every book. And then living authors said, wait a minute, I have copyright laws on that. Apple put music on little devices that you can now copy. And that had to work its way through the system. So as far as it putting me out of business, my business gets data from various real estate boards, and those are all copyright data. It's well-protected data, like the Los Angeles Board of Realtors versus the San Francisco Board of Realtors has different data, and they protect their data. The National Association of Realtors is one of the largest lobbying organizations in the country. So I don't see them giving up their data to the world without cost. It's a political beast. There's legal ramifications with AI, and it has to work its way through the system. That's why we pay lawyers what we do.
So I loved your answer to my question.
Thank you.
And I wondered, I had never considered that humans mature as technology matures. Do you suppose that there's a possibility that AI and human beings could possibly move beyond things that are so destructive, like war, or, the kinds of wrecking the planet and whatnot, if we really trusted AI and trusted humans to work together? What do you think?
That's like Skynet.
Well, I'm a filmmaker, so.
Yeah.
And a writer, so
yeah.
I think in those terms.
I don't know. I can't answer that. 10, 20 years from now, I have no idea where this will be or what decisions people will make to allow AI to do things for us. I don't know. I can't answer that. Let's have this conversation in 10 years. We'll come back here. More water.
Game on.
You had it? Yes, sir.
What part of the real estate industry has AI really done an application that's really wow?
So the answer, what has wowed me as far as in real estate? So far, nothing. I read a lot of the real estate press, the local, blogs and stuff like that. Realtor.com tried something and it failed and they got panned in the press. Zillow tried something and it failed. What people are trying to do is people are trying to be first. I got to be first, and usually what they say, the first one through the door usually gets shot, right? I'm never first. I'm never first. I always copy. Proud of it. For example, our searches on our websites, I copy Zillow. Are we recording this?
No.
Some people are trying to be first. They're trying it now, but like I said, it's not there yet. It will be. It's not going away. It will be. And the people who take it and make it evolve and make the apps and make the tools right now, those are the ones that are going to succeed. I was at one of the sessions yesterday. There was a gentleman there who, when the iPhone first came out, he started making games for the App Store. He was working with Apple, and he sold it for $1 gazillion, and I forgot his name. But he was there at the right time. This is the right time, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. It needs to evolve. Yes.
So you've been talking a lot about automation and then the differences with AI, and obviously, like the whole company won't go extinct, but in regards to specific roles, through automation, roles get eliminated, different job roles get eliminated. What types of roles do you think will be most impacted by AI in the immediate future? And then what do you think is more a possible long-term, not threat, but source of efficiency, let's say?
Sure. The big question that's coming out now is copyright rules. Who owns what? And that needs to be sorted out. It needs to go through the legal system. If you write something through ChatGPT, who has the copyright laws to that? If you create, something through Photoshop, an image, who has the copyright laws to that? And I think that is the first hurdle that we need to go through.
So,
Hey, thank you for the talk so far.
You're all the way back there.
Yeah, I know. For everyone else. So I'm curious because a lot of the conversation here, I've been in tech for a long time myself, and I've seen how it shifts, certain industry changes, leapfrog, all kinds of, pivots in the industry and all kinds of because of the way technology is going. One of my clients actually is Thermo Fisher and like a lot of biotech companies too. So of course there's concerns with AI. I mean, they're making use of it right now, but there's concerns of AI with like HIPAA regulations and all the protective data that's around it. But I guess my biggest question is, in your mind, do you see the 5 years or 10 years in terms of the dramatic impact on the world economy? Because I think the biggest names in the industry are already recognizing, for one of the first times, how we have to kind of pull things back versus just push to produce new technology. Because this one's a game changer. I mean, this can eliminate, if you can eliminate the ability to write, like we've basically been doing, you can, in theory, eliminate surgeons and doctors and
And because I've worked on patient records and I know how they can aggregate data way faster than any doctor could, you can eliminate almost anything in the industry with artificial intelligence. So then where do we stand in terms of the economy, right? Because we're going to need a stipend. So I'm just interested in like the bigger picture where you see this kind of being disruptive in what time frame.
Sure, thank you. Bless you. I think it's a 5-year period before we start seeing, wake up and we go, oh wow, that's changed things. Okay, that's great. I forgot his name, Altman, from Sam Altman, thank you. He is there in front of the legislators, in Washington saying, we made a mistake with Facebook. We didn't do anything. Facebook started as, cool thing, hey, look, I was at a party, hey, that's cool, But then, there's evil in the world, and the evil took over, and now the genie's out of the bottle, and you can't rein it in. And Meta is trying their hardest to do that. They are. I have to give them credit. They are trying their hardest to, especially with the presidential election coming up, they're trying their hardest. So we need to set some ground rules. We really do, and that's above my pay grade. But we really need to set some ground rules, and I'm so glad that these tech people are saying to the government, let's do this now before there is an issue. And I really hope they do. As far as the timing, how long? I'd say 5 years. I think you're going to see a lot of junk pop up. I see some stuff now. I saw one app, $5. You will get 3,000 prompts for ChatGPT. Okay, for $5. I was like, all right, cool. I got $5. I can spend that. But you're going to see a lot of crap now.
Isn't this an opportunity, though, isn't this an opportunity, to be able to come up with technology that can help the regulation of the technology?
Wow. Skynet.
AI.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know about that.
Question for ChatGPT.
My name is Pankaj. I'm a lawyer, so I kind of look into these issues a lot, and even in the context of the legal industry, I'm just wondering. I see the problem is that law is so outdated. The Copyright Act is from 1976, right? So you have not had an update to that in how many years? And that's the challenge. We're dealing with antiquated laws for technology that is way ahead of our time. So I think, my suggestion to everyone today would be, don't just check the box when you sign up for something and give them your contacts. Actually question the user policy, the terms of service, the privacy policies involved in anything you sign up for with AI. Because, now more than ever, I think people will be taking your data, people will be using your data in the ways you're maybe not comfortable with. Or you approach it saying, okay, I have no data, I have no privacy. And that's the other option, is saying, okay, everything you do is going to be out there and someone's going to be using it, and you have to be okay with that. So I think those are the two options. But I think the wheels are off this thing, I'm a little bit skeptical because, we say, okay, let's regulate. But the thing is, first of all, I think Facebook's disingenuous when they're trying to regulate because they like money and they're driven by shareholders. They have to make the decisions for the shareholders. So when they say they're trying, they're not really trying. And then second of all, we are not competing with all the other countries around the world. China's not going to stop. India's not going to stop. So why should, I think that's a big question. And maybe that's a moral or ethical question. I don't know. But, I think we have to approach it also from a pragmatic perspective as to, okay, how do we put, where does ethics and morals fall in all of this is a big question.
So I think everything in this world is consumer driven. I would not buy an Alexa. I'm sorry. I just did not want a microphone in my living room. It's bad enough that my iPhone listens to me. And now we see that something just came out in the press a week ago or so where all this data was being released and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe it was ahead of the curve or something, but, I can walk over and turn up the music. It's as simple as that. I think it's consumer driven. We have to know that if certain companies are irresponsible, we will not give them business. And that's what drives it. And I never read those terms and agreements. I'm sorry.
No one does.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to say so. Just to piggyback off of what you're saying. So I recently got an email from a vendor of mine that said for a learning management system. So our company obviously keeps a lot of
boundary.
Anyway, I got really loud. So the vendors sent an email that just looked kind of innocuous had I not really understand AI and what's going on, and it said something about we'll be incorporating ChatGPT and it's going to make everything better. And I said, wait, what? You're going to be looking at all of my data, all of the management system, training content, everything that we built. It's not secret, but it's proprietary. And so they said, well, we really don't know what we mean by that. So I just would say, I think that the cat's out of the bag. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to have to be careful.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. Appreciate it.
Give Mark
Always a great event when Adam and Sherrod are involved.
Come on. Famously.